Risk and opportunity are two sides of the same coin. And in a galaxy riven by war, there are many opportunities for those willing to take the risks. Across the stars, smugglers flaunt the Empire's laws to turn a profit. These daring outlaws, scoundrels, and con artists gamble it all for a shot to get rich. Or at least breaking even. This rulebook expands on the Edge of the Empire role-playing game, adding new content for smuggler characters, as well as any other characters interested in pursuing fame, fortune, and glory without bowing to harsh laws or society's demands. Charm marks to advance confidence schemes, gamble for enormous stakes, or fight in quick-draw duels against other notorious outlaws. This is a review of Fly Casual. Let's dive in. And so here we have Star Wars, Edge of the Empire, Fly Casual, a source book for smugglers. This was published back in 2015 by Fantasy Flight and now Edge Studios. The introduction delves into how smugglers fit into the Star Wars universe. Honestly, anyone who has seen the Star Wars film will already know this stuff, but it is fluff either way. You're either going to love it or you're not. The Free Traders is the Chapter 4 new player stuff. You'll find species and new specializations within. First, we have new obligations for the smuggler. This will include things like antagonist, bad reputation, betrayal, bounty, criminal, debt, family, favor, notoriety, high risk, servitude, and under contract. And remember, these are all going to be specific to smugglers. There are 3 species in this book: the Falleen, yes, the Godel, and the Quarrens. The Falleen begin the game with a 3 in presence, a 1 in brawn, and a 2 in everything else. Their wound threshold is 10 plus brawn, and their strain threshold is 12 plus willpower. They begin the game with 90 XP and 1 rank in charm. They also have beguiling pheromones. By emitting pheromones and altering their skin color, Falleen can affect emotional states of other sentients. Once per check as an incidental, a Falleen may suffer 2 strain to upgrade the ability of a charm, deception, or negotiation check against a living sentient being within short range once. This ability has no effect on targets wearing breath masks or without respiratory systems. The Godel begin the game with a 3 in cunning, a 1 in presence, and a 2 in everything else. Their wound threshold is 9 plus brawn, and their strain threshold is 8 plus willpower. They begin the game with 1 rank in perception, and they have energy sensitivity. The head cones of a Godel are finely tuned sensory organs used to detect almost the entirety of the electromagnetic spectrum. Once per encounter as a maneuver, a Godel may sense the presence and current emotional states of all living things within short range of himself. The Quarren begin the game with a 3 in willpower, a 1 in intellect, and a 2 in everything else. Their wound threshold is 10 plus brawn, and their strain threshold is 8 plus willpower. They begin the game with 95 XP. They do begin the game with 1 rank in negotiation, and they are amphibious, meaning they can breathe underwater, and they have an ink spray. Quarrens can spit ink from a specialized sac within their gills that disperses in water, creating a brief murk used to confuse foes or escape predators. This ability can be used on land as well, though it is considerably less effective because it must be sprayed directly on the target. Once per encounter as an out-of-turn incidental, a Quarren may suffer 2 strain to add setback die to a combat check made by a character within short range. Underwater, it adds 3 setback dice to the combat check instead. Smugglers have 3 new specializations: Charmer, Gambler, and Gunslinger. A smuggler's career skills include coordination, deception, knowledge underworld, perception, piloting space, skullduggery, streetwise, and vigilance. The Charmer adds charm, cool, leadership, and negotiation to that list. In the first tier, we have the Smooth Talker. When first acquired, choose 1 skill: charm, coercion, deception, or negotiation. When making checks with that skill, spend triumphs to gain additional successes equal to ranks in Smooth Talker. There's Inspiring Rhetoric. Take the Inspiring Rhetoric action. Make an average leadership check. Each success causes 1 ally in short range to recover 1 strain. Spend advantages to cause 1 affected ally to recover 1 additional strain. There's Kill with Kindness. Remove a setback die per rank of Kill with Kindness from charm and leadership checks. And there's Grit, so we gain +1 strain threshold. In the second tier, we have another rank of Kill with Kindness, but we also have improved Inspiring Rhetoric. Each ally affected by Inspiring Rhetoric gains a boost die on all skill checks for a number of rounds equal to ranks in leadership. There's Congenial. May suffer a number of strain to downgrade difficulty of charm or negotiation checks, or upgrade difficulty when targeted by charm or negotiation checks by an equal number. Strain suffered this way cannot exceed ranks in Congenial. And there's Plausible Deniability. Remove a setback die per rank of Plausible Deniability from coercion and deception checks. In the third tier, we have another rank of Grit. We also have Works Like a Charm. Once per session, make one skill check using Presence rather than the characteristic linked to that skill. And there's also 2 ranks of Disarming Smile. Take the Disarming Smile action. Succeed at an opposed charm check to lower all defenses of a target by ranks in Disarming Smile until the end of the encounter. In the fourth tier, we have another rank of Smooth Talker. We have another rank of Congenial, but we also have Just Kidding. Once per round as an incidental, spend 1 destiny point to ignore despair generated on a social check by the character or any ally in short range. And we also have Intense Presence. Spend 1 destiny point to recover strain equal to Presence rating. In the final tier, we have Natural Charmer. Once per session, may reroll any 1 charm or deception check. We have a rank of Dedication, so we gain +1 to a single characteristic. This cannot bring a characteristic above 6, by the way. We have Don't Shoot. Once per session, as an action, make a hard charm check. On success, cannot be the target of combat checks until the end of the encounter, or until making a combat check. And then there's Resolve. When a character involuntarily suffers strain, he suffers 1 less strain per rank of Resolve to a minimum of 1. The Gambler's bonus career skills include Computers, Cool, Deception, and Skullduggery. In the first tier, we have Convincing Demeanor. Remove a setback die per rank of Convincing Demeanor from Deception or Skullduggery checks. We have a rank of Grit, and we also have Toughened, so we gain +2 wound threshold. We also have Up the Ante. When gambling, win 10% more credits per rank of Up the Ante. In the second tier, we have another rank of Grit, and surprisingly, we have our first rank of Dedication here. So if you're looking for a really easy way to increase a characteristic, you can make a beeline through the Gambler talent tree and get that Dedication in the second tier. We also have Second Chances. Once per encounter, choose a number of positive dice equal to ranks in Second Chances and re-roll them. And we also have Supreme Double or Nothing. When performing the Double or Nothing incidental, also double the number of triumphs and despairs. In the third tier, we have another rank of Second Chances, another rank of Convincing Demeanor, but we also have Fortune Favors the Bold. Once per session as an incidental, suffer 2 strain to flip 1 dark side destiny point to light side. We also have Natural Rogue. Once per session, may reroll any 1 Skullduggery or Stealth check. In the fourth tier, we have 2 additional ranks of Up the Ante. We have another rank of Second Chances, and we also have Clever Solution. Once per session, make 1 skill check using Cunning rather than the characteristic linked to that skill. In the final tier, very confusingly enough, we actually have Double or Nothing, which in the second tier we have Supreme Double or Nothing, which requires you to have Double or Nothing already. So for Double or Nothing, suffer 2 strain to perform the Double or Nothing incidental to increase the difficulty of the next check by 1. Then, after canceling opposing symbols, double the amount of remaining advantages. We have our first rank of Smooth Talker. We have Natural Negotiator. Once per session, may reroll 1 cool or negotiation check. And we have Improved Double or Nothing. When performing the Double or Nothing incidental, after canceling opposing symbols, also double the amount of remaining successes. The Gunslinger's bonus career skills include Coercion, Cool, Knowledge Outer Rim, and Ranged Light. In the first tier, we have a rank of Grit. We have Quick Strike, so we add a boost die per rank of Quick Strike to combat checks against targets that have not acted yet this encounter. We have Rapid Reaction, so we suffer a number of strain to add an equal number of successes to initiative checks. Strain suffered cannot exceed ranks in Rapid Reaction. And we also have Quick Draw. Once per round, draw or holster a weapon or accessible item as an incidental. In the second tier, we have another rank of Grit and another rank of Quick Strike, but we also add Lethal Blows. so we add plus 10 per rank of lethal blows to any critical injury results inflicted on opponents, and we have improved quick draw. We may use quick draw twice per round. In the third tier, we have a rank of toughened. We have column, so we do not add a setback die to combat checks due to the use of the aim maneuver. We have dodge. When targeted by a combat check, may perform a dodge incidental to suffer a number of strain no greater than ranks of dodge, then upgrade the difficulty of the check by that number. And we have sorry about the mess. Decrease the critical rating of a weapon by 1, to a minimum of 1, against targets that have not yet acted this encounter. In the fourth tier, we have another rank of lethal blows, another rank of rapid reaction, but we also have confidence. May decrease difficulty of discipline checks to avoid fear by 1 per rank of confidence, and we have guns blazing. As an incidental, suffer 2 strain to avoid increasing the difficulty of a ranged light check to attack with 2 weapons. In the final tier, we have our first rank of dedication, Spitfire, so after a successful combined check with 2 ranged light weapons, additional hits can be allocated to other targets within range of the weapon. We have Natural Marksman. Once per session, may reroll any 1 ranged light or ranged heavy check. And we have Deadly Accuracy. When acquired, choose 1 combat skill. Add damage equal to ranks in that skill to 1 hit of successful attack made using that skill. Smugglers also have a new motivation category, Rewards. This will include things like credits, power, victory, beating the odds, fame, esteem, experience, moral, excitement, and independence. There are 2 signature abilities for the smuggler, Narrow Escape and Unmatched Fortune. Signature abilities are powerful, usually once per session abilities that are attached to the bottom of a specialization that matches the career for that ability. There are also upgrades that you can purchase. Narrow Escape's base ability says once per game session, the character may spend 2 destiny points to make a hard streetwise check. If successful, the character is immediately able to flee from the current personal scale combat encounter unscathed. The challenge is not overcome or defeated, but the character is able to evade the hazard or threat for the time being. The exact nature of what the character is trying to accomplish, as well as the end results, must be approved by the GM first, but should be suitably creative or daring. Unmatched Fortune's base ability says once per game session as an incidental, the character may spend 2 destiny points to change the face of 1 positive dice in the character's dice pool to another face adjacent to it. An adjacent face is any dice face sharing an edge, not a point, with the rolled face. Unmatched Fortune cannot be used on a forced die, though. Tricks of the Trade is the chapter for new gear, including weapons, armor, attachments, and vehicles. For ranged weapons, we have things like the Zerka Arms A95 Sting Beam, the Zerka Arms 411 Holdout Blaster, Liquid Silver L7 Light Blaster Pistol, the Merson Model 53 Quick Trigger Blaster Pistol, the Raider Arms Model 1 Nova Viper Blaster Pistol, the Zerka Arms C10 Dragon Eye Reaper Heavy Blaster Pistol, the Erlos HBT-4 Hunting Blaster, the Karandev VES 700 Pulse Rifle, and the Philibrek Droid Disabler. Lots of pistols here, obviously for the gunslinger, but also kind of find that it's just way better to actually upgrade your pistols rather than relying on something shiny that you find or buy in a marketplace. So definitely go for mods in this instance. For Slug Thors, we do have the FWG-5 Flechetti Pistol, the Adostic Arms 8-gauge Scattergun, and for explosives and other weapons, we have the Ashian Throwing Dagger, Knockout Grenade, SSB-1 Static Pistol, the Taiji Co Cryoband Projector. For armor, we have things like the Shock Boots, Punch Dagger, and the Vibro Rapier, because we definitely needed another Vibro weapon, and the Blade Breaker. For new gear, we have things like the Appraiser's Eye, Cybernetic Cavity, the Digital Lockpick, Holo Scanner, Lockpicking Tools, Shift Coffer, Magna Lock Safe, Shadow Cloak, Fingerprint Mask, False Credentials, Skifter, and Cargo Scanner. We do have quite a new number of vehicles, such as the HSP-10 Pursuit Airspeeder, the Taichco Cargo Hopper 102 Cargo Lifter, the Hyperfoil 1000 XTC, the Starhawk Speeder Bike, the Sunrunner ZX Land Speeder, the Alpha Class XG-1 Starwing Assault Gunboat, the Imperial Customs Frigate, the VT-49 Decimator, the CEC WUD-500 Star Yacht, the Starlight Class Light Fighter, the YKL-37R Nova Courier, GX-1 Short Hauler, the Baudo Class Star Yacht, the Mupket Medium Transport, the Gozanti class armed transport, the Corelli Space Jim Snore 3 light fighter, Corelli Space Jim Snore 4 light fighter, the CEC Hawk 1000 light fighter, the YT-2000 light fighter, the Interdictor class heavy cruiser, the Golan 1 space defense platform, which is absolutely awesome, and I would recommend you including that in a campaign if you need like some dungeon-esque thing to delve into. Just be aware that you probably have to fly into it like with a ship and stuff, so pew pew, you're getting shot out of space if you approach it. It's Just Business is the GM's Toolkit chapter. We'll find new mechanics, advice, and plot hooks within. First, there's some advice on how to incorporate smugglers into your campaign, but this section goes a little bit further with how non-smugglers can actually fit into smuggling adventures, because not everyone is a smelly nerf herder. Something of use is the section on smugglers going out on jobs. How much do they get paid and what types of modifiers do you apply? Very useful if you have some downtime and your smuggler player is looking to make some extra credits. In addition, we have some occupational hazards which can make things a bit more difficult. This will include things like Imperial Customs Office, the Bureau of Ships and Services. There's a section on transponder codes and adding transponder codes and things like that. Things that a smuggler will definitely need out there in the field. Something that's always confused me is astrogation, specifically determining difficulty and modifiers. We do get an explanation of astrogation rules here, but this is more useful if you're traveling to a known route, such as the Kessel Run. There is a nice table for spending threats, spares, advantages, and triumphs, but we also get a table for time travels from major planets along the well-known hyperspace routes. It can be useful if you're in a time crunch, but really not much else. There is some advice on con jobs and scams, heists and break-ins, but what I like about these are the traps that are listed, such as locks and laser gates, pressure plates and laser traps, and the various tests that you have to succeed in order to overcome these traps. Of course, if you're going to play a smuggler, there's bound to be a time or two where you're going to stare down an opponent for a showdown. First, you'll decide if you're going to size up or intimidate your opponent. Then you're going to draw, which is a simple cool check to determine initiative. If you are successful with a combat check, there are additional uses for advantages, triumphs, threats, and despairs in this table. And you pretty much just go back and forth until one of you is dead or incapacitated. The best new rule addition, because it's bound to come up whenever you hit a den or a tavern, are the gambling rules. Unfortunately, the rules here are for Hintaro and not something well known like Sabacc. The process involves rolling a pair of boost dice and making a combination to have a higher rank, kind of like in poker. It works well enough, but I kind of still prefer Sabacc. Despite all the wonderful additions to the game, this book is still going to fall at about mid-tier for me. The new astrogation rules are really only useful if time is a factor for you. Showdowns are cool, but I don't really see them being a common occurrence. Just that, something that could be very special for smuggler or, gunslinger type characters. Gambling is a great idea, but yeah, Sabacc? All kidding aside, the gambling rules are actually just fine and can be a good way for your characters to actually, get some extra credits and downtime. That's going to do it for this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to support the series, and I will see you guys in the next video.